Act 3, Scene 3, a lonely place near Forres, entering 3 murderers. Now you'll recall from Act 3, Scene 1 that Macbeth commissioned 2 murderers to commit the heinous crime of murder against young Fleance and of course his father, Banquo, Macbeth's brother-in-arms. But this 3rd murderer has come along, and this really is important because it shows the level of paranoia that Macbeth is already sinking into. Like, he's commissioned 2 murderers, but now he's commissioned a 3rd murderer to check on the other 2 murderers. And, you know, he said in the last scene, 3-2 there, you know, that full of scorpions is my mind, and that is it. He's paranoid. He needs to make sure that one murderer checks on the other murderer, and that really is how the reign of terror he's about to kind of unleash on Scotland is going to kind of happen. That, you know, he's so paranoid, he's going to kill everybody around him. The first murderer says, "But who did bid thee join with us?" And the 3rd murderer, "Macbeth." And the 2nd murderer says to the 1st murderer, "He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices, and what we have to do to the direction just." So, I mean, why did he have to get this guy to check on us? We know exactly what we're supposed to do. The 1st murderer says to the 3rd murderer, "Well, then stand with us. The west yet glimmers and with some streaks of day. Now spurs the lated traveller apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch." So it's getting dark, the streaks of night are coming, the streaks of day are depreciating, and the subject of our watch, i.e. Banquo and his son, are on their way. Third murderer. "Hark, I hear horses." Banquo within. "Give us light there, ho." So he's looking for some light. And the 2nd murderer says, Then 'tis he, the rest, that are within the note of expectation, are already in the court. So it must be him. Everybody else is at court. The 1st murderer. "His horses go about," the 3rd murderer, "almost a mile, but he does usually. So all men do, from thence to the palace gate, make it their walk." So the 3rd murderer says, yes, he has dismounted from his horse, but it is normal to dismount about a mile from the palace and to walk the rest of the way. So poor, innocent Banquo and Fleance are now walking towards their potential death here. Entering Banquo and Fleance with a torch. The 2nd murderer, "A light, a light." And the 3rd murderer, "'Tis he." 1st murderer, "Stand to it." And Banquo, "It will rain tonight." The 1st murderer says, "Let it come down." And they attack Banquo. It's just a very important thing there. Pathetic fallacy again. It's going to rain tonight. Again, this idea, this bad weather echoing the terrible happenings in Scotland. The 1st murderer says, "Let it come down," and then there's an attack. And the 1st murderer strikes out the light. Banquo screams, "Oh, treachery! Fly, good Fleance, fly, fly, fly! Thy mayst revenge, oh slave!" So important for highlighting here. Fly, Fleance. You escape. Now, you'll recall from the prophecies, Banquo has been told that he will never himself be king, but that he shall in some way beget kings. So Fleance was is an essential part of this murder. He has to be killed. And that was the last thing that Macbeth said to the 2 murderers at the beginning, in the last scene, you know, in 3-1. He said, "Don't miss Fleance, kill the 2 of them." Banquo dies, Fleance escapes. The 3rd murderer, "Why did you strike out the light?" 1st murderer, "Was it not the way?" "But there's one down." This is the 3rd murderer. "The sun is fled." 2nd murderer, "We have lost best half of our affair." And the 1st murderer, "Well, let's away and say what is done, or say how much is done." So this is going to be incredibly displeasing, let's say, to Macbeth, because at the end of the day, while Banquo had to be extinguished because of his knowledge on the prophecies, Fleance had to be extinguished because there was this potential, you know, for him to become king at some point later on, and that his lineage would be kings. So it's really, really going to bother Macbeth that this job has not been done to full satisfaction. So just a very, very small scene, but obviously incredibly important, because yet another murder has occurred because of Macbeth's paranoia and his thirst for ambition and to stay in power. Now that he is in power, he wants to stay in power. And it's really important. It's almost like he's playing a very cruel game of chess here. You know, he has the two murderers on the board. He brings a third murderer to make sure that they do their job. And he wants Fleance gone. He wants Banquo gone from the safety of his own palace. He has this all organised. But extremely importantly, Fleance has escaped. So Fleance's destiny is not... is still kind of up in the air. You know, he may well still be king because he has, at least for now, escaped the clutches of the murderers.